Cheers, and I'm coming at you guys today with a how to prepare for tryout video. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys some tips and some tutorials on how to prepare for your tryout week and to have a successful tryout process and to be way less stressed than it has to be. So if you're interested in some tips and some tutorials, please keep watching. So before I get into the tips, I just want to put a disclaimer out. This video may be on the longer side, and I know people don't like long videos, so you can check the description box below, and I will have the time markers for where each segment starts in this video. But now into the tips. So before I give you tips, I'm going to tell you what to bring. So most schools, I know my school, definitely you need your physical in order to try out. So the day of tryouts, you have to have your physical, which is like when you go to the doctor and they give you a checkup and they sign this paper. At my school, no physical equals no tryout. I don't know about other schools, but have your physical and all paperwork that they ask for when you guys have your meeting or your discussion. You also need to bring water. I mean, I think this is a given, but people may not know this, but you need water during your tryout process, during your clinic days, all that. It may be hot. I don't know, because tryouts are around like this time with April and May, so it's hot anyway, so you need to bring water so you can stay hydrated. You also want to bring athletic clothes and athletic shoes. Most people had PE in their life. At one point in your life, you probably had PE, so if you don't have athletic clothes, you do have PE clothes. So try to wear something that you can actually move in. I wouldn't suggest wearing jeans and a crop top to tryouts or your clinic days, because what can you do in jeans and a crop top? Also be mindful of the shoes you're wearing. Even though you may do PE in your Vans or your Converse or your Timberlands, which it's not safe, don't try out in those shoes. If you can get your hands on a pair of cheer shoes, or not even cheer shoes, just shoes that actually can support your ankle, please do so. It's not required, but I think wearing bows during like your clinic days and your tryout is really like, I don't know, it gives you like an extra like level of confidence. So they do have them at Walmart and the dollar store for like $1, or I think they're like $3 or $4 at Walmart. Or you can always ask someone who's already been on the team to like borrow a bow, or like maybe can I use one of your guys' bows for tryouts, things like that. I feel like it just gives you an extra level of confidence, in my personal opinion, but it's not needed nor required unless your whoever's running your tryouts does tell you need it, then you need it. Now, finally getting into the tips, I broke them into before tryouts, during tryouts, and after tryouts to help your stress levels go down, okay? So before tryouts, you want to stretch really good. Like, I cannot emphasize this enough. You have to stretch before tryouts. Don't be that person who pulls a muscle during one of the clinic days. I was that person. And it wasn't even because I wasn't stretching well, I just wasn't stretching enough. So you need to stretch well and stretch long enough. And I will have a stretching routine later in the video, and you'll see it'll be sped up, but you will see the routine that you need to do, or you can do. You don't need to do it, but you can do that routine, and it will help you prepare for tryouts. And also, you don't want to be super stiff at tryouts, because then if you're given material and you're stiff, you're not going to be able to do it. You're going to be at a disadvantage. It's going to make it harder going into the actual tryout. You also want to eat well. I cannot emphasize eating well enough. Most schools have your clinic days, and then they lead up to your tryouts. When I say like tryout week, that's what I mean. Your clinic days and then your tryout. During that week, you probably want to be loving your body. And by loving your body, I mean not eating Wingstop, Taco Bell, McDonald's, Carolinas, all that. You want to eat healthy. I'm not saying to eat like, oh, you have to eat like salads and with no croutons, no dressing. Just be mindful of what you're putting into your body, because you don't want to feel crappy during your clinic days or during your actual tryout, because you want to give it your all. And definitely another major key, do not drink Starbucks before your clinic days or your tryout. You will feel terrible, okay? Terrible. And also, obviously, with loving your body, drinking lots of water before your tryouts as well. You want to be really hydrated going into tryouts. You don't know where your tryouts are going to be. You may or you may not, actually. I don't really know. But if your tryouts are outside, it's hot outside. You do want to be hydrated. You don't want to get a heat stroke during tryouts. If you really want to be on your team, you want to be healthy and giving it your all during your tryouts. So drink lots of water. That should be a given. Water over Gatorade. I think water works the best, okay? Water over Gatorade. So now, during your tryout process or your clinic week, whatever you guys call it at your school, don't be afraid to ask questions. A lot of times, you're learning material and you may not understand. Don't feel shy to ask questions. Now, let me break this down, though. There's a difference between asking a question to show off and asking a question for clarification. So let me tell you the difference. Asking a question for clarification is, oh, you learned a move and you're like, oh, can you do that again because I didn't get that. Chances are there are probably like 10 people who have that same question who were just too shy to ask as well. But then asking a question to show off is like, and then doing a little stuff and then be like, did I do that right? Because a lot of times other girls are trying to learn and you showing off like that in front of the whole group is probably not the best idea. You can always pull someone aside and ask them if you're doing it right, but I think that's a little bit like what your intentions are to show off when you're trying to do it in front of the whole group like that. I hope that makes sense. Basically, when you're asking questions, try to ask questions that are clarifying something and not bring attention to you, if that makes sense. Also, be friendly. Like, if you make this team, the girls and guys, if you guys have guys trying it out, are going to be your teammates. So if you're at tryout week or your clinic week and you're being rude and having a stink attitude, I don't want to be your teammate. Like, your teammates should be your family members. For me personally, all 4 years, my teammates were my family members. And that's how it should be for every team. So having a stink attitude at tryouts is going to make people already have like a stink attitude towards you. So don't do that. And then also, with not being friendly, or with being friendly, you want to have a good attitude towards everyone, like your coaches, your advisors, whoever's running tryouts. Have a good attitude. No one wants to coach someone with a bad attitude. No one wants to be a teammate with someone with a bad attitude. No one wants to be friends with someone with a bad attitude, to be honest. So just have a good attitude, and chances are you having a good attitude is going to make your tryout experience 10 times better than it would if you had a negative attitude, which if you had a negative attitude, you shouldn't even be trying out in the first place. You're wasting your time. Okay, now into after tryouts. So please know how you're going to be contacted, especially if you are in middle school and you are trying out for a high school team. Know how they're going to contact you, since you don't go to that school and you can't just go to the office and ask for information. For example, if at your guys' meeting or whatever discussion you guys have about results, if they say, okay, we're going to email our results, then you need to start checking your email more frequently. If they say they're going to call you on your home phone, maybe you should answer the home phone when it rings, or things like that, if that makes sense. I feel like I say that makes sense a lot, I'm sorry, but just trying to give you guys some knowledge here. So also with knowing how you're going to be contacted, have the contact information of a coach or advisor who is running the clinic. I can't emphasize this enough. A lot of people don't ask questions like these if they don't give you the information, because if you don't get an email or don't get a phone call and maybe they just missed your name, you should be able to follow up with them. If you really want to be on this team, you want to follow up and say like, hey, I didn't get a phone call, or I didn't get an email, like, do you know my status of my tryout, things like that. Show that you really care and you really want to be on the team if you really do. That definitely sets you apart from other people, because someone else who doesn't care compared to you who does care. Look at that. Also, if you happen to not make the team, contact the coach and ask them, what can I do to improve? What did I do wrong? Do you guys have any tips for me to try out next year? Chances are, if you try out again a year later, you will have a whole year to improve, to learn, to grow, and your tryout process will be so much easier because you already know what to do. So I hope these tips were helpful. I'll put them all in the description box below as well, so you can go back and read them before your tryouts. And I hope everyone has a really safe tryout process, and I hope you guys all make your cheer teams. Good luck. your toe touch, you are going to clasp with your knees bent, bring that up into a cone on your tiptoes, swing your arms, and do your jump. You want to keep your toes pointed and your chest up. Check the description box below for a more in-depth video on how to do your toe touch. Alright, for your herky, the prep is the same, except you will turn to the right or the left and then follow my motion of jump. I will include a video down below on the difference between a herky and a hurdler because they are different. So check the description box below for that. If you have tumbling skills, please show these off during your tryout. It could be a cartwheel, a round off, a handstand, a forward roll, which I will link how to do all those in the description box below, so check down there. But if you also have more advanced skills like round off back handsprings, round off tucks, flick tucks, layouts, whatever the case may be, definitely showcase those skills because they'll definitely get you more points.